Welcome along. You join us at Fujitsu World Tour London. The theme of this year's event is Driving a Trusted Future. The rapid evolution of new technology, new ecosystems, new structures, it's all driving a bit of concern and a few questions, isn't it? How do we deliver digital transformation, prove value back to the business? How do we provide value for our employees, our customers, even society at large? Well, we've got your back at this year's Fujitsu World Tour. We're going to help you identify the mix of partners, technologies, solutions and skills required to address all of those questions that you have. The purpose of these interviews is to surface real-world examples and answers to the very problems that your business is facing today when looking at technology. Up next, we're going to talk multi-cloud and application transformation. Our studies show that large businesses use increasingly complex cloud environments. There's rising pressure on partners to be trusted to deliver easier orchestration of complex cloud estates. How do we harness multi-cloud estates? There's so many questions that we could ask here. Helping us understand all of those answers to anyone considering what their multi-cloud approach is going to be. We're joined by three of Fujitsu's finest, three familiar faces to regular watchers. Mark Phillips, Head of Multi-Cloud, Tim Moody, VP of Multi-Cloud Service, and Jason Daniels, CTO, EMEA at Fujitsu. Thank you all for popping over. I mean, this cloud thing's, it's all getting out of control in a good way, isn't it? It's all scaling very fast. I'm keen to get all of your opinions, but Tim, let's come to you first. Just what's changing for large enterprises?
Time. So maturity and time is one of the biggest dimensions we're seeing. So until recently, many of our customers were just trialing cloud. They're looking at migrating small workloads, working out how they could best use technology to their advantage. Kind of seen that mature over the last couple of years, primarily to an environment where the cloud providers themselves, main cloud providers, are really mature. So a lot of very robust services that the organisations are really looking to use to take advantage of. And that shift is alongside lots of cloud providers being utilised. So our customers are having to not just worry about one, but actually worry about a whole number. And that just drives complexity, drives the need for them to have a strategy and a way of executing how they manage that, how they get best use out of that cloud.
It's interesting, that. Do you think they're asking the right questions internally? Are the boardrooms involved in the decision-making enough, or are we still leaving it to the technical teams to make decisions for us? What do you think?
So we're seeing definitely two schools. So the IT organisation are absolutely a core part of that adoption, but a lot of the business transformation we're seeing is around the use of software as a service providers and capabilities that the business leaders are driving. So we're definitely seeing that tension in the organisations, and the business and IT, it's always the way, right? But you have to work closely, and that's only getting more and more important.
I guess that prompts the question, well, how's Fujitsu helping solve all of this? How are they helping organisations with their multi-cloud?
So I think in three ways. So we're looking at how organisations can become more operationally efficient. We're looking at how organisations can actually start to compete based on the use of their cloud platforms. And then in some of the more advanced customers and industries, we're actually seeing customers looking to disrupt their entire sectors and respond to major disruption in those sectors in terms of doing that. So two really good examples would be Ford Motor Company, as they move from being an automotive manufacturer to being a mobility services company. Cloud is absolutely at the heart of that strategy. And if you look at the world's second largest security company, Securitas, they're looking at how they bring intelligent security to the world and how they actually over time will look at replacing physical human beings being deployed into these kind of environments with technology like augmented reality, CCTV, and sensor-based technology. So there's a broad spectrum, everything from saving money all the way up to differentiating themselves and their proposition to their customers.
How do we address this challenge then of sort of multi-cloud environments? I mean, this is a genuine headache for a lot of boardrooms right now. They know that they've got to provide the investment. They know that this is the direction it's going, but this isn't an easy one to crack, is it?
No. And to follow on from Mark's point, we're in a situation in the world today where there's unprecedented demand for execs and technical people to take risk much earlier on in the transformation process. So as Fujitsu, our job is to help guide companies, set out a framework and a roadmap by which they can follow to get success quickly in a controlled way underpinned by security and governance, but allowing them to be agile and allowing them to respond to business demand. The disruption today is taking place to the left and right, not immediately in front of our customers. Okay, so smaller startups, other industries are impacting the way that our customers evolve. And as Fujitsu, we have the visibility to the left and right, full 360 degrees, and we can bring that information and intelligence to allow them to connect, to allow them to become intelligent and ultimately transform them as a business.
I know you mentioned like Ford Motor Company. Are there any other real-world examples that we got? One of the things that we sometimes hear back from feedback is we hypothesize about where it's going, what's happening, but we don't necessarily provide many examples back. I mean, who's getting this right? Who is the yardstick of success that we could look to and think, okay, we need to follow suit?
So I think I think it's occurring in different ways across various sectors. I'd say the two verticals or digital arenas, as we refer to them, that are leading the way. I think manufacturing's doing a really good job. It's really, those organizations are really thinking about how they avoid commoditization and really transform themselves and position themselves from being very different entities, and also financial services. What's really interesting is that we're now seeing innovation developed in one sector being cross-pollinated into another. So coming back to Jason's point about innovation coming left and right, if you've worked in a sector for 30 years, you're really unlikely to come up with a new way of doing things. You might come up with various ideas about how you become more efficient. But really what our ability is to do is to look across sectors, look at innovation in one industry sector, and just wonder about how that can be applied in a very different way to how we help organizations transform themselves.
I think CJ, Mark, sorry, can I add to that? There's a myth as well that our customers and the industry in general think that everyone's whizzing by at 10,000 miles an hour, everyone is so transformed and connected and doing really well, and that's not true. A recent survey showed that around 28% of digital leaders actually feel confident of the route they're taking and that they're making progress. 28%.
Wow.
Okay, so everyone, they're not going fast. Marketing might make you believe they are, but actually, like a swan on water, when you look below the waterline, they're paddling like mad, trying to go in the right direction. And that's where Fujitsu helps them, number one, paddle in the right direction and at the right speed, whilst taking the people in their business on the journey as well.
I really appreciate you flagging that stat. There's a segment coming up later on security where we're revealing that it's forecast 83% of traffic for enterprise is going to go through the cloud by 2020. So if we've only got 28%, as you say, currently, that's a busy couple of years ahead then for organisations, is it not?
Very busy. And why organisations, to succeed in today's world, need to partner with a company such as Fujitsu to succeed. Going alone will not work. For large enterprises, they need to partner with the right ecosystem, hopefully with Fujitsu at its core, that can take them on that journey in an assured way using our cross-industry exposure that we see, underpinned by the security that's expected, and with the vision and roadmap to take them into the future.
I'm going to ask the same question to each of you. There'll be a lot of boardrooms watching this. If you've got one message for them, what would it be?
I'll probably build on Jason's last point, actually. So we're talking a lot about multi-cloud. I think embedding security in that and looking at the holistic way you're operating, trust is at the centre of absolutely everything that's demanded of every single organisation. So I think really bake in security into everything that gets done, because if you lose your customers' trust, you lose the system's trust, you're done.
What do you think, Mark?
So I think the conversation's moved on from if you move to the cloud to how you move to the cloud. But I think organizations need to think carefully about what they want to use it for. Do they want to just become more operationally efficient? And I say just, I mean, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to want to do, right? But do they just want to do that, or do they actually want to start competing based on their use of clouds? Or do they want to take that next step and say, I am going to be the Uber of my industry sector, and I'm going to completely disrupt my sector based on the use of cloud, like some of the examples have that we described earlier on.
What do you think, Jason?
For me, it's transform now. Start small, but transform now. So when looking at an application or a data layer and the migration to a cloud platform, transform before you move and look at what you can do to deliver value straight away. We're no longer in a world where we can accept a 6 to 8 month migration project into a public cloud platform that just takes you 8 months behind your competition before you start to begin and transform. So before you begin, look at how you can transform, then move to the cloud and use the technology in the right way for the right application to deliver the innovation and advantage you need.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule, coming and
Thank you.
talking to us.
Thank you.
Fascinating insight. I dare say that's piqued some interest, and you've probably got some questions. If you want to carry on the conversation with any of our guests, drop us a note on social. We will facilitate an introduction. Plenty more insights still to come from Fujitsu World Tour. By the time we finish tomorrow, we would have brought you interviews across AI, blockchain, quantum, security, multi-cloud innovation, operational excellence, workplace, a trusted future, retail, the connected world, public sector, transport, automation, and financial services, no less. All you need to do, go onto social, put in the relevant keyword or the topic that's just pique some curiosity with you, and there will be a truckload of insight answering core problems that you are facing with technology today. And that's the purpose of these interviews. We want to help you. We want to get some of the expert opinion to make your journey to digital transformation that bit easier. Thanks for watching.